Hi you guys! So today we're going to pivot a little bit from our crypto series and we're going to talk about silver. Now you guys, silver is booming, okay? And it's going to keep booming, and I want y'all to know everything about silver so that you can profit off of this boom. But before we get started, welcome back to Getting Digital with Deja. Okay, so let's start off with the price history of silver. So, on January 1st of 2025, silver was placed at $29.14. Now, January 2nd of 2026, about a year later, silver is priced at $71.79. That's over 140% increase. And not only that, silver was actually priced over $80 last week, and it just came down a little bit this week. But it was really high is what I'm trying to say. It's still very high. So I didn't want to make this video too long, so I broke down 4 major factors on why silver has been booming. And the first factor is going to be AI data centers. And within those AI data centers, we're also going to be talking about EVs, which are electrical vehicles. We're going to be talking about solar products as well as that, because all of those things need silver to be able to function. The second reason, which is my favorite reason because it's so juicy, is China restricting the supply of silver. Third reason is going to be uncertainty in the financial markets and inside the financial system. And the last reason is going to be us as human beings using more silver than there is in supply. Okay? We're using silver way faster than they can mine it. Now, let's start off with the first reason, which is what I said is going to be AI booming. Okay? Also with EVs and solar products as well. Now, AI data centers use a lot of energy, power, and resources to be able to carry out their everyday functions. They use a lot of water, okay, and they use a lot of silver on top of that. And the only reason they use a lot of silver is because these AI data centers run at temperatures that are way greater than the regular traditional server farms, okay? And in order to conduct that electricity and to keep things going, they're going to need silver. Silver is the most conductive metal on Earth that we know of. It outperforms gold and copper in terms of conductivity, which is why it is the chosen one to be used in a lot of specialized applications. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I feel like this microphone kind of like makes me a little bit muffled. So we're not gonna use it today, okay? So I did get a little bit nerdy to figure out why silver is the most like conductive metal on Earth. And this is why, this is what the textbook told me. Silver's crystal structure allows for easy movement of its single valence electron, resulting in minimal electrical resistance. Yeah, so AI, solar applications, and electrical vehicles actually make up over 50% of the demand for silver in the market. So industrial uses of silver makes up 50% of its demand. Now, that's really crazy because all 3 of those things are going to be around for a very long time. You have countries, including like here in the US, that are totally transitioning to electrical vehicles. They're trying to they have deadlines on when, electrical vehicles need to be implemented and just like taking over, the car industry. Then you have solar. A lot of people are trying to go solar. It saves like electricity bills, it's better for the environment, things like that. And it's really cool because you can use it and just like in a lot of different instances. Solar is always going to be there. Now, the third thing is AI, artificial intelligence, data centers. They are building mega data centers all over the country, even one right here in Texas, okay? They're building them everywhere. So, my thing is, those are 3 things that are like basically never gonna go away as long as humanity stands. And silver helps all 3 of those things to thrive. So, investing in silver is like investing in the future, essentially. Also, in November of 2025, because now we're in 2026, the Trump administration added silver to the critical minerals list, signaling it's used for industrial uses, national security, technology, and a lot of other things that are going to be growing in the coming years. Now, let's move on to the second reason silver is booming, and that's because of China restricting the supply and the exportation of silver. So, China is the world's 2nd largest supplier of silver in the world. Okay, now it's time for a fun fact. Mexico is actually the biggest supplier of silver in the world, in the entire world, okay? Or at least here on Earth. In 2024, the total amount of revenue coming from their silver exports was around $619 billion. Now, let me tell you something even crazier. Another fun fact is that over 500 billion of those dollars of those export revenue came from the United States. You know what that means? That means that the United States bought a lot of silver from Mexico. Okay, $500 billion out of $618.9 billion to be exact. That's a lot of freaking money. It's a lot of freaking silver. So in October of 2025, you might have saw this as headlines in the news for a while. China mandated specialized licenses for the exports of silver. So China's Ministry of Commerce stated that they made this decision because they wanted to strengthen the oversight of rare and strategic metals. All this went into effect of January 2026, which is where we are right now. So you might see even more things in the news of these exports and these like licensing and stuff actually becoming an issue. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna go to my notes for this one so I don't say anything wrong. But under the new rules, China also restricted exports of tungsten and antimony, which are materials in which it holds a dominant position in and are widely used in defense and advanced technologies. Are widely used in defense and technical technologies. Are widely used, basically, for war and for technology. So a lot of the market players are thinking that China is doing this because they are hoarding the silver for their own benefits and for their own technology and their strategic plans that they have that, you know, we don't know about. I mean, duh. There are even documented reports of China going to Canadian companies to try and buy silver for $8 above the asking price. $8 above market price. But here's the kicker. Those same people who made those reports said that Indian buyers are trying to get their silver for a $10 premium. $10 premium. That's a lot of money when you're adding it all up together, you guys. So they are paying way above market price for the silver to get the silver in their hands. That is showing you, and not just China, India is trying to do it too. That's just showing you that they are trying to build things on a mass scale. Now, China and India are both a part of BRICS, okay? They're both a part of BRICS. They're both having their own financial systems. They're both all just trying to get rid of the Western dominance in their countries. And they are the ones who are trying to get the most silver, which is going to advance them in all parts of technology. I just think it's mind-boggling how all of this is unfolding. So, China placing a restriction on rare minerals, because it was really a restriction on rare minerals in general, and silver was a part of those, created a supply shock. Essentially, if all westernized countries and things like that are like, oh shoot, we cannot depend on China for our supply of silver. We can't. We got to get it from other places, okay? And now, pause. Some of you may not like what I'm about to say, but like, Trump. Everybody was shitting on Trump when he tried to, when he did force these companies to stop relying on outside sources and rely on here in the United States. Like even Nvidia is selling their chips and things to China. It's like, no, if you want to do stuff like that, we're going to tax you. You're going to pay to do that, okay? People were getting upset and like, Trump is like the worst and da-da-da-da-da-da. Trump does have his downfalls. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to this sector, and when it comes to the tariffs and things like that, all of this plays a role in his decision making. So it's like, he's not absurd for wanting us to stop depending so much on China. Now, enough of me ranting because I can really go all day with that topic, okay? Yes, but no, the third reason why silver is booming is because uncertainty in the financial systems and inside the financial market. Similar to gold, silver is a hard asset. Now, I actually went and got the textbook definition of why they say silver is a hard asset, and this is exactly what they said. When people fear their dollars are losing purchasing power through inflation or money printing, they trade paper currency for silver to preserve wealth. Pause. What is the Federal Reserve doing? Printing money, printing money, printing money. What's happening? Inflation, inflation. What happens when people are trying to protect from inflation and the overprinting of money? According to this definition, they invest inside of silver. So financial analysts have linked the surges in precious metals in general to the weakening of the US dollar. And the weakening of the US dollar, let's talk about that. The dollar has fell by 9.5% in 2025. That's a lot. That's the most it's fell since 2017. Now, on the contrary, silver has more than doubled its price this year. Actually, in the year 2025, because we're in 2026. So it more than doubled its price in the year 2025, okay? It's been having the greatest amount of growth annually since 1979. Same thing with gold. Gold has been having the most growth annually since 1979. The correlation in the way the market was then and how it is now is so similar, it's scary. Only scary for those who don't watch my videos, who don't know what's going on. But for you guys, it's not scary, it's exciting. Now that moves us into the fourth reason why silver is booming, and that's because of a supply shortage. So, yes, silver goes up in price as the dollar falls, that is correct, but it also goes up in price as there is a shortage for it. So we have both things happening at once, a shortage and the dollar losing its value. That's a lot of revenue and trading that's going to be going into silver, okay? So, for over 5 years now, the world has been using a lot more silver than they dig out of the ground. So, mines cannot just ramp up the production of silver because 70% of the silver that is produced is a byproduct of things like zinc, lead, what was another one? Copper. It's a byproduct of those things. So it just can't go and mine and produce silver at really fast rates. So we're using it way faster than it's being provided. So when there is a shortage, there's a price leap, there's a price jump. Okay, now let's talk about the historic price leaps of silver, because this is not the first time that silver has been booming. Silver typically booms whenever there's something going on in the economy or in the market that is relatively negative. So let's go to the textbook for this one. Now, in 1980, silver spiked 700% up, then crashed nearly 80%. All right, 2011, silver went from $18 to $49, then dropped by 50% within a few months. In 2020, because of the sharp COVID surge, followed by fast correction. So it went up a lot because of COVID, and basically everybody thought the world was gonna end, and then also with COVID, like they need silver for their hardware and supplies and things like that, but then it quickly just drops. As quickly as it rose is as quickly as it dropped. Now, all that is just showing us that historically, when there are things going on in the market that make silver go up, it's going to have a dramatic drop somewhere down the road. Okay, it's not going to usually be gradual, it's going to be something dramatic. That is why I want to point out, if you get scared, if you are a puller outer when you see things not going your way, silver is not going to be a good investment. Okay, so the reason I say that is if you're scared of silver or any asset that you have dropping between 20 to 30%, that's going to make you get out of the market. You might as well not even get in the silver market. Silver is a long-term relationship. Some things are short-term, but silver would be a long-term. Gold is a long-term. Okay, that's how you really make your money off of it. Is it growing over the years, not it falling and you taking out your money. That's like getting rid of XRP when one day it hits $1. Girl, if you don't stick it through, that's my man and I'ma stick beside him. The same way that y'all be talking about y'all dudes, how y'all gonna stick beside him through thick and thin, is how y'all need to be with these investments. That's my investment and I'ma stick beside it. That's what I'm trying to hear, okay? Now, here's the part that y'all probably been waiting on. Y'all like, all right, Deja, silver's booming. We get it. We can make money off of it, blah, blah, blah. But how do we make money off of it? Especially if you're not trying to trade it for real. I got 3 ways for you to make some money. So the first way, which I say is the most old-fashioned and dusty way, but whatever, is for you to buy the silver coins in the bars and store it in a vault. Now, the only reason I say this is old-fashioned and dusty is because, one, road goes to shits, right? Who you gonna try to cash in that silver to? What if whoever is in charge of that vault, which is going to be yourself, or it can be a vault through like a third party or something like that, what if you can't reach them? What if nobody's worried about trying to get your silver to you? What if that is the last concern that somebody has? It's not like you can just go online and click and have the funds deposit into your account. No, there are steps that you have to go through. So I call it old-fashioned and dusty, but it is a very safe way to do it if you just want to make sure that nothing happens to your silver. But then also on top of that, what if someone breaks into your vault? Or what if you have a vault with someone else and you can't get in it for various reasons? I don't know. It's tricky in my opinion, but it is one of the ways that you can invest in silver. Now, the second way, which I think is pretty cool, is silver ETFs. And this is a textbook definition of how to invest in a silver ETF, okay? So you guys won't have any questions. You buy shares of a fund that holds physical silver in vaults, traded through the stock market. SLV is the most popular silver ETF. So the third way you can invest is mining stocks. So you're not necessarily investing into silver itself, but you're investing into stocks that will highly benefit off of the price of silver going up. You know, so I mean, that would be a good way to get some exposure into silver. Now, another way to get some exposure into the silver market is through crypto, of course, and that's going to be KAG, which stands for Kinesis Silver. Now, the cool thing about this coin is it's just like PaxG and things like that. It is the market's most, I guess you could say, silver-backed coin in the market by market cap, okay? So silver is actually backing this coin, and it's the biggest one in the industry. So if you wanted to get some exposure into silver and you don't want to necessarily buy silver itself, you can buy a silver-backed coin, which is going to be Kinesis Silver, KAG. Okay, you guys, that wraps up our episode on silver. I hope I answered all the questions that you may ever have, and if you don't, just put it in the comments because, you know, I got you. Guys, remember, I am still in the middle of my Crypto 101 series, so on Monday I will have another Crypto 101 episode for you guys. I am putting in work, okay? Consistency is what we're aiming for this year. It's what we're aiming for this year, so I'm gonna give it to you, okay? So on that note, I wanted to add that pretty girls can do silver too. All right, you guys, toodles.